Thanks for checking out our Midwest Coasting blog this week. We're continuing on our little journey of talking about different styles of boats with local marine professionals in the Lake of the Ozark area, and then this week we want to focus a little bit on pontoons. So we're at Kellysport Highway Store. Kellysport is a full-service marina here at the Lake of the Ozark. Mark Bowman has joined us, and we're going to pick his brain a little bit this morning. Before we talk a little bit about boats, Mark, just tell us a little bit maybe about what would be your most favorite part about selling boats or getting somebody into a new boat.
Watching the family smile and just cheer, and just, when they pull away, it's you're building a lot of memories, and it's all about families having fun on the water. And
that's obviously what Midwest Coasting is all about, and promoting that lifestyle and what we do. So we really appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about pontoons. There's a lot of boat choices out there and a lot of styles, and it's important for a family, if they're making the decision to get into a new or different boat, that they take the time and think about, you know, how they're going to boat, when they're going to boat.
Right.
And pontoons are kind of coming back into the marketplace. It seems like you see more of them. So I guess let's talk a little bit about what you think are some key benefits to pontoons and why families should definitely take a look at those as they're thinking about a boat purchase.
Okay. My first boat down here was a pontoon boat. It was a 24-foot, had 2 pontoons on it, and the thought was you can get a lot of people on the boat, relax, and have a good time. What I quickly learned was on this lake, because it is so rough, that a boat with 2 pontoons or a shorter boat like that, it's not uncommon to take a big wave over the front of the boat.
Right.
The other thing was, when I was trying to pull the kids on tubes or skis, there just wasn't enough to get them out of the water. So then they came up with the tri-toon, so you had 3 pontoons.
Okay.
That changed. They planed out better, they rode better, but it still took about 100 yards to make a turn.
Okay.
So if one of your children fell off the tube and you wanted to turn around,
right,
it took forever, and it was a little hair-raising to make sure that they're safe while you're trying to make the turn. About 3 years ago, Bennington came out with what they call the elliptical pontoon. So it's a bigger pontoon in the center, but surprisingly, this boat will turn almost as sharp as a V-bottom boat.
Really?
So what's happened now is you can go out on the roughest day, and you can put 12 people on a boat, so you've accomplished the family side of it. You've got enough power to pull a skier, a wakeboarder, tubes. It'll turn as sharp as a V-bottom boat, and it rides, the 26-foot Bennington will ride as well as a 32-foot big bow rider. I mean, it's amazing how well they ride in rough water. And it takes all the effort out of driving a boat.
Right.
If you're driving a 28-foot fiberglass boat on a Saturday, you're watching for every wave, because you have to hit it just right. With the pontoon boat, especially the Bennington, you can actually sit there and drive and turn and talk and visit, and I don't want to say it's foolproof, but it's pretty close.
Well, we had the opportunity this summer to go out on a couple of these boats with you, and I can definitely agree. You hear that nothing rides like a pontoon on the water. You hear it, and sometimes you don't believe it.
Right.
But the key is, you know, to get with someone like yourself, and if you're interested, to get on the water, and I think you'll quickly be convinced of the ride. And the other thing you mentioned is the more of relaxing for a captain, as they sit, you know, behind the wheel, and you know, not being so stressed out with the waves coming away. So absolutely, taking a ride with you this summer helped convince me of that. I think pontoons have come a long way, and that stereotype of not wanting to get into one has changed quite a bit with the styling and the motors. So talk a little bit about the motors and the options that are available.
Well, there are 2 options, the outboard motor, and it depends on what your goal is. And we ask a lot of questions when we're discussing your boating needs. If it's going to be you and 3 other people and you're just out to putt around, we'd definitely recommend an outboard, and probably something like a 200, maybe even a 150. If you're going to get in some water sports, you can get up to a 225, 250, even a 300. What's amazing is with the 4-stroke, they're so quiet, but with say a 300 horse, you can get close to 50 miles an hour. And people never dreamed you could get that fast on a pontoon boat.
Right.
On the other side, there's what they call the stern drive, which is the engine's inside the engine compartment, and then your stern drive sits out behind. So it's got dual prop, counter-rotating props. Gives you more bite when you take off. Handles a little bit better. If you're going to pull maybe 2 wakeboarders, might recommend that as opposed to the outboard. The downside is the outboard, you don't have to winterize.
Right.
So if you go with a stern drive, you will have to winterize it. But if you're the type person that don't plan on using your boat all winter, which most people don't,
Right.
then we recommend going with a stern drive. But
Yep.
it just depends. If you live here full time, different story. What we like to do is get you down to our marina and let you get behind the wheel of 2 or 3 or 4 different boats, back
Right.
to back to back to back. That way you can walk away going, you know, that boat felt right for us.
Right.
And so whether it's an inboard, outboard, or an outboard, you can now, like I said, the boat's going to handle as well as a V-bottom boat. You're going to reach the same speeds.
Yep.
It's just amazing how far these boats have come. And of course, the styling now. When you pull into a restaurant, it used to be if you pulled in a pontoon boat, you kind of ducked your head. Now, when you pull in, you're very proud, and people walk by and they look at it and go, "What kind of boat is that?" And you go, "It's a Bennington."
Yeah. The motors are big. They've got arches on them now. The creature comforts are
Yes.
great. And I think the other thing as a family versus a typical V-bottom boat with these outboards is they kind of, well, we can't swim off the back of this boat.
Right.
They get a little bit of concern. Number one, they think there's no swim platform.
Correct.
And number two, the dangers possibly or potentially of that motor sitting out. So as I sit here with an outboard, there's obviously still a little bit of a swim platform for them, but also with the inboard, you get a full swim platform
Correct.
like you do with
Correct.
more of a typical bow rider.
Right. You get a full fiberglass swim platform that hangs over the stern drive. And then with our outboards, with Bennington, we order what they call the extended aft swim platform. So you have 2.5 feet on each side to back swim and jump and play, and you don't have to worry about hitting the motor.
Right.
So it's easy to get in and out. It's just very user friendly when you're trying to cove out.
Oh yeah, I would agree. I guess we talked a little bit about pontoons, obviously. Haul people, improved styling, motor options. You know, they've come a long way, obviously. So Bennington is the line of boats that you guys sell. If you can give a few highlights or points as to why to consider Bennington if they're in the market for looking for a pontoon.
Well, I can tell you from experience, since I've been with Kellysport, we've sold 2 different types of pontoon boats. And it's extremely frustrating and difficult to sell against Bennington because they are number one with customer satisfaction. They're number one with service. I mean, it's very hard to sell against them.
Right.
Once we had the opportunity to get the Bennington in and actually look at the boat top to bottom, it's amazing to see how better well built they are.
Right.
The other thing is they come with a warranty that's unlike anything in the industry. Most boats are going to have a limited warranty on the hull, the bottom of the boat, maybe 10 years. And then on the inside of the boat, normally you're going to have maybe 1 year bumper to bumper. You might have 2 years on a stereo. You might have 2 years on the gauges.
Right.
The carpet might be 3 years. The bimini top might be 3 years. The vinyl, 3 years. And so you're dealing with all these different factions when you're trying to solve a warranty issue. With Bennington, and they just did this year, they've gone to a 7-year bumper to bumper, 100% parts, 100% labor. Now that's from the carpet up. From the deck on down, it's lifetime. And again, 100% parts, 100% labor. Any other warranty on the market, it's going to be a sliding scale.
Right.
And with Bennington, it's, like I said, it's 100% parts, 100% labor. And to have bumper to bumper for 7 years, it tells you they're pretty confident in the product they're selling.
And it gives peace of mind as a new boat owner.
Absolutely.
As far as cost,
Right.
once you take possession of it.
Right.
So I appreciate you taking a little time talking pontoons.
Absolutely.
I encourage all of you out there, if you're interested in learning more, getting on one of these, definitely reach out to Mark. Kellysport also has other lines of boats, and they can talk with you about a lot of different things, but we encourage you to give these guys a call and help them sort through your boating decisions if you're in the market for something new or different. Appreciate you taking a little time with us. Stay connected with us via MidwestCoasting.com. Get coasting.